Welcome to Saturday Night Prime Time here on Racespot TV, and it is the final round of the Pro Mazda Championship from circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Wilmington along with Gary Weather, as we've got 18 drivers ready to do battle at this fantastic 4.4 mile racetrack. And well, 68 degrees, it's pretty cool right now in Belgium, 54% relative humidity and clear skies and wind speeds of 8 miles an hour. What that's going to mean, Gary, is that the air temp's only 68, but the track temp's going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, well, that's definitely going to be playing into effect for the tire temperature here tonight, this afternoon. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what these drivers can do and what lines they use to take advantage of that track temperature.
Indeed so. So we are going to go and pay attention then in just 1 second's time to what is going on in terms of qualifying. Same rules apply as all season. Couple of laps, go as fast as you possibly can. 4 minutes then remaining in terms of qualifying. No drivers have yet set a time. Part of the reason for that one is so how long a lap here is, Gary. You can't get it wrong in qualifying, otherwise you will not be able to do both your allocated laps.
Yeah, you get so much as one wrong lap time, then in that case, well, you might as well just park it and just hope for the best that you don't end up in the bad part of the grid. So you just have to be as smooth and as clean as possible here on these qualifying laps tonight.
Yeah, having a look at Rutger Hegman right now in the number 5 machine, just working himself down that very long camel straightaway in towards the complex right now. The right, left, right flick. And then, of course, you now come down towards the 180-degree right-hander known as reverse. And while I've walked around here a few times, Gary, I mean, admittedly, I've walked around it backwards. So this is all uphill when you're walking around it. But once you do that, you start to understand some of the big gradients at this racetrack as Everett Paddock sets the early pace in qualifying. Now, Daniel Fletcher to the top of the timing scoring pylon. But walking up the hill from Fonya towards Puon, it's a mighty challenge, and these guys do go downhill quite a bit. Everyone talks about Air Rouge Radio. There's more than just that in terms of elevation here.
Yeah, elevation, and along with I guess it would be, a correct term would be slipstream around here, is Jerome Hagnas. That's the quickest lap time on this top of the scoring pylon. So slipstream plus the downhill can make for some very exciting racing here, and of course top speed in the process. Yeah,
and there is Rutger Hegman then doing a lap. Marco Sidiocono goes 4th place for the time being. It's Jerome Haag who has the advantage in terms of qualifying. 2:14.740. Daniel Fletcher second. Margin Noodles in the 3rd place. Everett Paddock in 5th. In fact, no, take that back. It's Ron Rainmaker right now who moves up into 5th place. And let's have a look what we're going to get from Rutger Hegman. He is currently in P number 8 after lap number 1. So let's turn our attention over to the driver who is currently actually in 2nd place. This is Daniel Fletcher right now. We have a look at him as he comes from the exit of Puon towards the Fonya chicane. And while for Fletcher, he's got to find a 1/4 of a second, Gary.
Yeah, that 1/4 of a second can be gained or lost in just ever so slightly. And these curbs, as useful as they are sometimes, you also have to watch out for the grass and the curbs. So one wrong move and, well, there's the thing right there, is he just kicked out just a little bit of dust a bit too far to the right there. But nonetheless, he is still continuing his lap time, and it looks like he's bound to finish. Just hopefully, though, like you mentioned, that 1/4 of a second is something that he has to get.
Yeah, it is indeed. So for Fletcher, it's not always about how much time you can gain. But a track like this, how often do you lose time? The more often you lose time, the harder it's going to be to get pole position here. Bus stop chicane for Fletcher. Everett Paddock's up, and Fletcher's on towards pit road, actually. So, no faster for him. Let's now go and turn our attention over to Jerome Haag, because he's now coming towards Blanchimont. And the bus stop chicane.
Oh.
And coming towards pit road himself. Well, that's been a bit anticlimactic there, Gary.
Yeah, he did get a little bit sideways entering that chicane, if you will, coming just right there. So if he had completed that lap, I'm pretty sure he would have lost time anyways. So quite unfortunate that he did get loose, but hopefully we don't see that in the race. But I feel like that we're going to be seeing somebody do that, and if it's even more unfortunate for somebody else, then we're going to be seeing somebody sideways and a lot of contact.
Marco Acidio Kono remains in P number 5. Daniel Denelot moves up to P number 6. All drivers have set a qualifying time apart from one. That is the number 3 machine. Let's have a look at your starting grid for this Saturday night prime time on Racewatch TV as Rutger Hegman does improve his lap at the line. Jerome Haag then, pole position 2:14.740, Daniel Fletcher alongside him, front row of the grid. Martin Onoudlis then in 3rd place with Everett Paddock in P number 4. Marco Acidio Kono in 5th place, David Dendelot in 6th. Jerome Raidmaker in 7th and Rutger Hegman in 8th. 9th place, Thomas Ziegler and then Matteo Vincenti in P number 10. Let's see the 18 car field coming up on your screen. Gary, do you dare to pick me a winner?
Nope, not yet. I'm just going to, I'm just here to watch, to be honest. So, I'm not really sure who to pick, although Jerome did have an exciting, really good lap time, 2/10 quicker. So, in fact, he and Daniel Fletcher are the only 2 drivers within the 2:14 range. So, I feel like it would be Jerome just because of that 2/10.
Yeah. So, we have got ourselves about 30 seconds then until we are ready to go live here. It's the final round of this season in the Pro Mazda Championship. 11 rounds are in the books. This will be 17 laps around circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and anyone has a chance of winning if there's calamity at turn number 1. There's a lovely look in then at your field. Nope, we're not even going to get it from that angle, so we're just going to turn that one over. There's a look for your field overhead. Aerial coverage brought to you by And One Design, the official graphics partner of Racewatch TV. And now we can see them all sat there waiting to go. And those lights will go on top of the iRacing gantry. And when they go out, we will be racing here at Spa. Good clean start by most people as they work themselves up through Air Rouge Radion for the first time in this one. Jerome Haag, though, is leading the way right now as they come. And this is when you can get a bit of a draft going on. So this is when things can start getting interesting. We got themselves 2 by 2 in towards Le Combe for the first time. Haag is going to keep... No, he's not actually. It'll be Martin Onoudlis then with the race leaders. They exit Le Combe for the first time, Gary.
An amazing job, almost off track there, taking a little bit of an off-road trip. Looks like it was the number 14 of Acidio Kono. Nonetheless, they're still going forward, and right now just a small 3-car breakaway, and Jerome Haag has not left that back bumper of Arnoldus right there.
Yeah, we're going to go on board then with that driver of Jerome Haag. He's lost himself the race lead early, but it is okay because he is within a 1/4 of a second of Martin Onoudlis as they'll come down into Fangnia. Nothing that Haag can do just here, but you've got the opportunity to overtake at Fangnia. The next big one, of course, is down in towards the bus stop chicane.
You have to pick your passing opportunities at the right moment, and of course, coming along this portion of the track is where you can get a great slipstream, possibly hitting the rev limiter if you're unfortunate enough, but you just have to hope that you're just that bit faster than the driver in front of you, and Jerome Haag is using that to his advantage, but don't count out Fletcher in 3rd.
Yeah, and here is Haag then as behind. We have got a couple of battles going on. Just having a look on board of him as they come towards the bus stop chicane. There'll be a little bit of side-by-side action going on then, but Haag cannot do anything. Behind, field is settling down in the early going. I've had one or two people fall down the wayside a little bit. Craig Ridley involved in an incident. He is out of this one already. Lap number 1 complete. On board, Marco Sidio Kono as he looks to go on the outside in towards Lecom. Over the driver of Hug. Hug's actually lost the place. He's down into 3rd. And now Sidio Kono is going to get a great run potentially. As this battle between Haag and Fletcher is going to go side by side into a Rouge. Someone's going to have to give here as they work up through Radioff. But Sidio Kono is going to have a fantastic run, Gary, as they head themselves through the king.
Yeah, he's going to be using this to his advantage most definitely. And, well, looks like Martin's going to try and break the draft. But here comes Sidio Kono for 3rd on the inside of Fletcher. So he's got 3rd place. Now he's going to back off 2x2 for both positions.
Yeah, and for Sidio Kono then, he does not gain a thing after that one, but look at him go right now. And actually look at this, 3 wide, almost down towards Rivage. As you've got Fletcher and our Noodlers, they are going at it. Fantastic racing. These guys really do want to end this season with a bang. Live timing and scoring is available. Just visit racebot.tv/timing for that one. Behind, by the way, Jerome Raidmaker is putting pressure on David Dendelot. That is behind for P number 6, with Dendelot putting pressure also on Paddock, and that's for 5th.
Yeah, Dendelot's going to look to the inside, not going to chance it as of yet. He had the slipstream there, so decided not to use it. Yeah, this essentially could be bringing all these drivers up against each other, so this could be from what was a small 3-car breakaway to essentially probably a 6-car battle, just all strung out here.
Thomas Ziegler's had himself an incident. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one for you. He's lost that car twice now. We just saw him doing it in towards Stavolo 1. But here we are, back at Fangya. Oh, the back end steps out so early there into Fangya. Then he gets a hit to kind of help him around, but that car was losing itself all the way through the second part of Fangya. We got an incident.
Yeah, Martin O'Neill just ran into some bad luck. He got loose and completely lost it around. Got too much of the curb actually hanging to the chicane. And then unfortunately getting into him was Sidio Kono in the process. And there's some contact behind those drivers as well, just ever so slightly. Looks like Paddock got a piece of that as well.
Yeah, that's the incident then from our Noodless' point of view. Let's try and have another look then from our aerial coverage in towards the bus stop chicane. Yeah, just loses it, and you're right. That could have been far worse. That could have been a 6-7 car incident. But our Noodlers then could not get the car on towards pit road. The driver of Marco Sidio Kono did. However, he's now still on pit road. He's been there for 25 seconds, and it looks like he's going nowhere in a hurry. As we go back then to your battle for your race lead, on board of Jerome Haag once again versus David Fletcher.
Yeah, Daniel Fletcher and Jerome Haag, they made a great breakaway now, so all David Dendelot in 3rd, all he has to do is just hope that these two race a little bit too hard and either one or both these drivers go off track. But right now, this is a great 2-car breakaway, and one of these drivers is going to be using the slipstream, and at the moment, that's going to be Jerome.
Yep. Jerome's currently 3/10 to a second behind Daniel Fletcher as they work through the Fangya chicane once again. Let's have a look at the battle for P5 on track. 4 and 5. Rutger Hegman and Stephen Roesgen then. Batting it out, Benelux driver versus a Diaz driver. So Rutger Hegman on home turf here in the 12th round of the championship. The gap between himself though and Roesgen is currently about 7/10 to a second. As Everett Paddock also realised he's having a miserable today. He's already down into P14 from qualifying up early on in the field, Gary.
Yeah, Paddock had a portion of that incident as well, so it's quite unfortunate that he got involved in that, but hopefully he can get back out as soon as possible and head to pit road as Jerome Haag.
Yeah, so Haag's on towards pit road here. We've got another couple of guys in as well, so pit stops here. Some people are taking the earliest opportunity possible to bring their cars on towards pit road. Jerome Haag is one of them. Then you've got David Dendelot on pit road, and Aurelian Glimchitz then also making his service, as is Hayden Gober. So 4 drivers coming in at the end of lap number 3. This is very interesting. Jerome Haag in his pit stall. He's actually going to get beaten off the lane as well by one driver, by two drivers, by three drivers. I think that's a speeding penalty for Jerome Haag.
That could be, oh my goodness, that could be a speeding penalty. I'm going to double check on that as now he gets out of pit road. He may have been entering just a bit too fast and entering pit road, call it about 40 miles an hour, just ever so slightly. Got to 38, 39 at some point, entering pit road 40 max. So yeah, he definitely got a speeding penalty.
Yeah, pit road speed here is 37 miles an hour. So Jerome Haag then a little bit too fast, but that costs him 15 seconds. And that's really going to put him all the way down at the rear end of your top 10 now. Well, Gary, what we have got there, a battle going on for P6 and 7. This is close right now. Lyndon Swabby versus Bob Bryant going on for P6.
Yeah, Brian had a little bit of a wild moment, and hello, another second wild moment. There's Lyndon's going to get the advantage now, hanging to the right left-hander now, coming, of course, to the straightaway now, and of course, just right in front of them, probably enjoying this right now in both of his mirrors is Vincenti, but I don't think Vincenti should be too calm as of yet, because that slipstream is going to be playing into effect here.
Yeah, it's also a three-car train right now for second place. Stephen Rosgren and Rutger Hegman and Geraint Rademacher. Daniel Fletcher does lead the way as he comes in towards the bus stop chicane. Will he come in towards and do it in pit road? No, he won't. He'll stay out then at the conclusion of lap number 4. The drivers behind him coming into shot now. We've got one of them coming on towards pit road. I believe that is third car in line. Yeah, it is Rutger Hegman then, as we just show you. I think he might have just accelerated too much there as well. He might have got himself a speeding penalty, Gary.
Possibly. He got past the cones at about 28 miles an hour. Accelerate. Oh, no, he definitely sped in pit road a maximum of about, checking now, 51 miles an hour ever so slightly. That is definitely a speeding penalty. My goodness.
Yeah, and he slows it down early, and I think he just gets a little bit too aggressive. I thought, well, no, he's actually okay. 7.6 out and away. He dodged a huge bullet there.
Yeah, he just got very lucky, but somebody who's not lucky right now is second place. Roskin is getting passed by Rademacher now, and looks like Roskin's going to let him by. Yeah. For now, so right behind them, though, Vincenti is getting passed by Bob Bryant, or Bryant was making an attempt now with a crossover.
As we just have a look
Still can't get by.
Yeah, we're going to have a look quickly at the replay. Rademacher just moves down to the inside. It's all academic, really, as now he's up into second place. But Robbie McGavery, talk us about this one, because they've been side by side for a few corners, and Swaby's off at No Name Corner, loops the car, hits the wall. Game over. Nothing to talk about. Sorry about that one, Gary.
It's all right. It's just the bad luck that you have here sometimes. It's just, again, just you have to be very careful with the throttle. Just have to watch out for the curbs and sometimes the grass if you're unlucky enough. But for now, I'm not seeing, well, I do see a three-car train for about, seems to be fourth place, so Vincenti, Bryan, and McAvery.
Yeah, and let's have a look then down at that one. McAvery, he's currently in P number 6. Let's ride on board of him for a couple of corners. Give you some good old RaceWhat TV fan immersion. That was Matteo Vincente and Bob Bryant there, Gary, that came on towards pit road. They both come out behind Hayden Gober, but ahead of Jerome Haag.
Yeah, Jerome again just had so much bad luck, so I just realized there goes my pick to win this race, but Daniel Fletcher's hanging on very well. Raidmaker trying to hold off Roskin at the moment.
Yeah, and there is Jerome Park in that #1 machine as he works himself now on the exit of Radio towards the, on the Kemmel straightaway even, towards the Lecombe complex. So your top 4 drivers have not yet pitted. They are Daniel Fletcher. He now has himself a 7.1 second advantage over Jerome Raidmaker. And then you've also got Stephen Roskin and Jerry McGavery. They have not yet pitted in this event. Everyone else has. In terms of retirees, Lyndon Swabby, of course, we saw him go off at No Name Corner a couple of laps ago. Everett Paddock is out of this event. Martin Noodless, that's probably the biggest one in your field here today, Gary. He is out because of that incident we saw with him running over the curbs down at the bus stop.
Yeah, no one else has yet done that, and of course, that's they're pretty lucky. That's turns 18 and 19, and that's what Daniel Fletcher is just now coming up on, actually. So he's going to stay on the racetrack as far as Raidmaker and Roskin goes. They're going to make their way to turns 18 and now 19. They also decide to stay out.
Yep, so another lap being stayed out by those 2 drivers. We're having a look at Marco Sidiacono. He did make himself a pit stop. He is out and away, but he pitted very early. I think it was about a lap before he needed to in order to be safe. So he's in kind of no man's land in so many different ways right now. Stephen Roskin will on board of him as they come through Air Rouge. That's just an air. I'll tell you one thing, Gary. If you have a loose handling race car and you're behind traffic into Air Rouge Radio, it actually does sometimes make your car more stable. You feel more comfortable in taking that corner. It's one of these weird phenomena that I think you only ever get in the Pro Mazda.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that in the Pro Mazda as well, especially with the aerodynamics, and I think just a little bit sideways there's Raidmaker, but he's still going forward, so I didn't really see a big wiggle. He just looked a bit sideways, so he's still going forward. Left side tires, right side tires on that curb, so still being smooth. I would think that Roskin is actually just letting a Raidmaker run his own line and not really trying to pass for second yet.
Yeah, just having a look, by the way, at the lap gaps. And Daniel Fletcher is currently 31 seconds ahead of David Dendelop. However, a pit stop here, we know, takes about 32 to 33 seconds. This is going to be really close when Fletcher does come on towards pit road compared to Dendelop. And we're just having a look at the gap on your screen. Well, as we say, it's 32 seconds right now. I think Fletcher might lose out by a hair.
Yeah, it's going to be really close if Fletcher does decide to pit this time around. Probably going to take one more lap and then pit with an even 10 laps to go, or maybe even right here. We're going to find out heading into the chicane this time around. And he stays out for the moment, so he's probably going to want to increase, probably trying to increase that gap ever so slightly just to stay at least within the top 5. That's where Dendelot is.
Yeah, and behind Stephen Roskin, they are battling out Roskin with Raidmaker. They are, however, 8.2 seconds back from your current race leader, as we just have a look on board with Roskin as they work themselves on the exit of La Source right now. Roskin turned a good race, but I think that he's just struggling a little bit in that dirty air.
Yeah, I didn't really see him manage to really gain anything at some points, but like I mentioned, he's probably just waiting for the right moment to pass. And of course, right here through, as they went through El Rouge, right now is going to be the great opportunity to the driver's right side of Raidmaker for second place.
As he will be clear in towards Lacombe even, as they'll come into that one, and Stephen Roskin up into what is currently second place. I will say, as it stands, he will come out around P number 8. If he can just do a couple of blistering laps, he might be able to get himself inside the top 5 after he's made his pit stop. But Gary, he's going to really have to get going now.
Yeah, Fletcher has to realize that it's now go time, and that means he has to push the car just ever so slightly. Not enough to really loosen up the car, or at least loosen up what its driving line usually is, but just driving a little bit harder, but not unnecessarily harder. So you have to drive really harder than you're really used to, but you also have to play it smart and think, okay, should I drive hard in this corner or not? So it just depends on what Fletcher decides to do here. So you have to be seeing these top 4 pits sometime eventually, but at the moment for Fletcher, it's going to be very close.
Yeah, in terms of Rosegun and Raidmaker, well, Rosegun has pulled out a half-second advantage in just half a lap over Raidmaker. However, the number 8 machine will gain some of that back as they work towards Stavolo right now and the bus stop chicane. As we pass, well, we're getting to halfway distance here in this event. Let's go back down your field a little bit in just a moment's time, because we just want to keep an eye. Fletcher does stay out, and he will do another lap. Rosegun is going to do another lap. Raidmaker is going to do another lap as well, so we can go safely back then and have a look at 2 battles going on. We've got, first of all, Matteo Vincenti versus Hayden Gober. That one is for P number 8 on track, and you'll have to ignore one of these laps. What you'll notice is that last time by, Vincenti was 3.5 tenths per second faster than Gober just ahead of him.
Yeah, of course, it's that slipstream also in the process that's being used, so very, very exciting to see that Vincenti is moving up to 8th place eventually, trying to use that draft as best as he can. And interestingly enough, I believe Hayden Gober is, well, almost the only, in this case, United States driver. Of course, Club West, also Midwest is Everett Paddock, but Hayden Gober now did an amazing job in 8th place, but Vincenti has got to get there at some point during this next run.
Yeah, and behind you've got Jerome Haag, of course. He's trying to recover from what that was, that miserable pit stop by him. 23.6 seconds on pit road. Here is Haag right now. He's looking to get back inside your top 10. Through, as we'll see, Gober's going past Vincenti. As we look at Jerome Haag doing exactly the same thing in towards Lecombe there, while Haag moves up ahead of Bob Bryant and Vincenti moves up ahead of Gober, Gary.
Yeah, both drivers taking advantage with the slipstream on the Kemmel Straight, and that's, again, just opportunity, and you find it at the right moment. But the most interesting thing is that Jerome's last lap time actually was a 2:14.423, but that was the fastest lap out of all of these drivers and the fastest lap of the race the last time around.
That was fantastic then by Jerome Haag, and he's still got more drivers who he's trying to hunt down. He's already, in the space of this one lap alone, pulled up to the rear of Hayden Gober, and that is for 9th place on track. Look at how much he's gained, a total of 3.2 seconds in 3 laps, Gary.
Yeah, so it's about a second per lap if you want to put it that way, so that really helps out, at least aside from the 0.2, but no doubt Vincenti really wanted to get as far away from both Gober and Jerome as quick as possible. Unfortunately, though, the slipstream from Hayden Gober is keeping Jerome in that process, so could be seeing that number 1 make a move to the driver's right side when they come up on the chicane in just a few moments. And he does. Now up to P at number 9 is Jerome Haag, so he's going to set his sights on Vincenti as they enter turn number 1 of Le Source.
Right. Sorry.
And yeah, all right. I was just wondering, so I just decided to keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just had a couple of microphone issues there, but Haag then moves himself up into P number 9. If he made such easy work of Gober and Bryant, then it won't take him long, I don't think, before he's past Vincenti. He might do that now as we go on board of him then. As we've got Dendelot batting it out with Grimlitz just ahead. We'll go and have a look at that one on replay in a moment. Here's the number 1 driver up into P number 8. Easy, easy work. Behind, you've also got Hayden Gober battling it out with Bob Bryant, and we've got an issue.
No, I was just reacting to the battle there. That was really close for Bryant. He was practically on top of Vincenti's back bumper there.
Yeah, let's get ourselves a replay of that one very quickly. On board with Bob Bryant. Mid-South car, number 10 machine. Wow, he braked late, and he was about a quarter of a car length between them there. Let's just replay that tape a little bit and show you what happened with Glimlets really quickly as well. This was a number 3 machine and the number 16 machine. Looks like the two are teammates. Indeed, they are teammates. And the number 3 machine just working himself then up into what is currently 5th place on track, but it will be higher later on. Have a replay then on board with that number 5 machine. Well, Denlot did try and close up and get past him, just could not do so. There's the situation there. Want to go though and talk about your top 4 drivers, because they still haven't pitted. Now they're at the point they will probably be on pit road in the next 1 to 2 laps here. Here is Daniel Fletcher. I think he'll be on pit road this time around, as he's now on lap number 11 of 17.
Yeah, Fletcher, like you mentioned, well, he's been, ever since we last talked about him, he's gained 2 seconds now from that 7.2 second gap. Is now 9.5 seconds to at least second place of Raidmaker and Roskin, who they still are just hanging out. So you can see I'm seeing Roskin now taking, not really using that slipstream to his advantage as of yet, probably not wanting to chance anything and just wanting to wait until the last few laps.
Yeah, and we've seen as well that if you can get the job done on pit road, you don't need to worry about necessarily doing it on track. You can get social with us on Facebook /RaceBotTV, at RaceBotTV on the Twitter machine as well, if that's your preferred method of communication. You can also, of course, find us on YouTube, RaceBot TV. Try and getting us up to 10,000 subscribers, because that way we can go and spend lots of time at YouTube's facilities to make you even more fantastic original content. It's also worth saying, you've got to check out the iRacing archives. If you missed the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix series, then you missed a fantastic last couple of laps, and you will see that on our Facebook page. Gary, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter, and that was absolutely amazing. So, exciting races also always produced by the, if I can even remember the initials for it, I believe it's GPS, that's all I can remember. So, nonetheless, Daniel Fletcher now coming down the straightaway, at least through, I believe it's, I can pronounce that correctly. Right, yeah. That's what it is. Yep, he's going to be into the chicane now, and we will see if he has to pit road.
He should be in this time by.
And nope.
He's not. Okay, he's just going to make us wait one more lap then. What about Jerome Raidmaker? Are any of these two drivers going to come on towards pit road? Raidmaker and Roskin? The answer is no, not for them either. So, this is now quite clearly the last lap they can do before they will come on towards pit road. And there's the gap. It's only 0.3 of a second between Raidmaker and Roskin. In towards last source they go again.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like they're waiting until the leader pits, which in this case is Fletcher, but in this case, I'm pretty sure that they'll, like you mentioned, they'll have to pit this time around. So these top 4 drivers, and McAvery, unfortunately, is on the not too grave an end on this, as he's going to be coming up on the tail end of pit stops in a few moments, at least once they get back around to the chicane.
Worth noting that Daniel Fletcher is now 33.6 seconds ahead of Glimlets, as we just see then Roskin moving himself up into 2nd place. Nicely done using the toe. The one time I don't talk about it is the one time he gets himself up a position. Stefan Roskin then up into P number 2. Just looks as though it was so easy for him after all was said and done, just breezing past that number 8 machine. But yeah, the gap between what is 5th place on track, that is Orlin Glimlets, and then the driver Daniel Fletcher, that one is now 33.6 seconds. Lane to lane, it's 32.8. But it is worth noting, Gary, you've got a bit of a difficult pit entry, and you haven't got all the speed in the world as you come out of pit exit, which is basically a tighter version of the last source.
Yeah, it's a really, really heavy turn, pretty much 180 degrees, just very squished down in most cases, so you have to be careful when you're exiting that, and of course, always remember that you have to be under the speed limit, of course, coming into the pit entry. So Daniel Fletcher now heading into the chicane this time by. Should be seeing him enter pit road, and he does not.
Again, wow. Interesting then for Daniel Fletcher. We were just showing you, by the way, Jerome Haag. We'll put that graphic up for you again. The fact that he gained over Rutger Hegman a total of 2.5 seconds over 3 laps. He's almost consistently a second a lap faster, Gary, than Hegman ahead of him. And well, when Haag gets up to him, that is going to mean that he could well be battling with Hegman and then Dendelot. Do not discount Jerome Haag from winning this event, because he is currently the fastest man on track by about 7 or 8 tenths of a second.
And Chad McAvery enters pit road this time around, and he's going to fall back at the moment to what is 8th place. But for Jerome, though, he's just set an even faster lap time of 2:14.080.
Fantastic, fantastic there by Jerome in that number 1 car. 8.6 seconds then for Jerry McGaffrey. You can see them. That's when our timer stops, but I say you lose about 1.5 seconds additional on entering and exiting pit road here at Spa. So that number, that 33.2 overall, is not fully indicative of what you're going to have here today.
And Bob Bryant trying to make a move on Vincenti down the Kemmel Straight, so they're going to head down into, well, it looks like Bob Bryant's going to cut just a little bit. Chanced it, but he did manage to get by Vincenti there heading into Lacombe. So amazing opportunity, a little bit late and chanced it just a little bit, but he did an amazing job taking that opportunity. Yeah, let's replay Bryant in that number 10 machine. Gets himself past. By the way, Vincente's also got Hayden Gover right behind him as well in terms of battling for position. So, getting now towards the interesting part of this event, when we're going to see the likes of Fletcher come on towards pit road. I'm going to have a look, first of all, on board the Rainmaker. Still behind Stephen Rosekin, but not able to do anything through Blanchimont. In fact, having to lift out of the throttle a little bit through Blanchimont. Here is Fletcher, and he will stay out once again. Well, this really is an interesting strategy we're seeing by him. What about, though, Rosekin and Rainmaker? The answer to that question is they're going to do another lap as well. They're keeping us on the end of their toes here, Gary. This is, I don't know if I should say stressful or exciting, but I'd say a combination of both, because, oh my gosh, how are they still staying out here on track? My goodness. Especially with Fletcher. Like, you expected him to pit about, what, 3 laps ago? So, at this point, Fletcher is doing either some great saving of his fuel, or I'm not sure, to be honest, but this is actually, like you mentioned, keeping us on our toes, and it's very unexpected, but also exciting.
Jerome Haag then over Rutger Hegman through La Source car. Let's go on board then with Jerome Haag, and let's show you his run up the hill. Like he overtook that car in the world as Bob Bryant versus Matteo Vincente again, side by side battle. P number 8 on track, and Bryant is not going to be able to get past, although he did get alongside then down the Kemmel Straight. Yeah, Bryant had it, but now unfortunately he's stuck behind Vincenti. And of course for Jerome, his last lap time was a 2-minute 13.832. So Jerome is really charging through the field now as best as possible. Yeah, and he's got himself David Dendelot just ahead, 6 tenths to a second. 4 tenths to a second between Haag and Dendelot. And then between Dendelot and Glimlet, it is going to be 6 tenths to a second. So Haag, in my opinion, needs to probably try and get one of these drivers, Dendelot, if he can, before they get to the bus stop chicane, and then try and pick off Glenwit just afterwards, because as it stands right now, Fletcher is about to come on towards pit road. He is on pit road, and what that now means is we've got to keep an eye out on what is going on all aspects of the track, because if these guys start fighting, it might just give a bit of an in for the driver of Daniel Fletcher. Jerome Haag is right behind as they come through towards the bus stop chicane. He's going to go to the outside. Haag got him. Let's go back and have a look at Daniel Fletcher, shall we? He's out of pit road. It's going to be a short stop. Where is it going to put him? It is looking as though Fletcher will come out in what is currently second place, but it is the overall race lead because that was a fast pit stop, 32.9 then, end to end. And I want to have a look at the lap gaps. It's actually quite high. It's 7 seconds between Fletcher and Glimlitz then. We did not expect that one, but a free 2.5 laps to go here. Fletcher looks as though he can still settle this one up. And now we've got the battle going on for second place on track. And that is between Daniel Fletcher and Jerome Harge right now. And Harge, we just need to wait for our timing and scoring to sort itself out a little bit. But the driver of Jerome Harge, just having a look at him, and actually he has got himself ahead of Glimlitz. So Harge is up into what will be second place then. We're going to show you a replay of that one momentarily, but a lot of action all happening at once. The thing is, though, it is a battle for second place when all is said and done. As we have a look then from our aerial coverage, down the camel straight away, outside line taken by Jerome Harge, and he's going to get himself ahead then of Orion Glimlitz and move himself up into what will be a net P2, Gary.
Yeah, it's just we all have to wait for a Raidmaker though to head to pit road, and that's most likely going to be this time around. So, like you mentioned, the net position number 2, not too bad by Jerome Hag. So, essentially, like you said, when this is all over, this is pretty much going to be your positions 1 and 2 just swapped around. So, Raidmaker heading down into the chicane, heading into pit road. Yep, he's going to head into pit road now.
Yep, as you can see, build up the speed and then slam on the brakes. 37 miles an hour. You do have a pit limiter here that will help you along. And Rainmaker will come in, and it looks as though he's going to come out, dare I say, around P number 8 by the looks of it. I'll tell you one thing, though, for Jerome Harge, considering what has happened to him in this event, Gary, what a fantastic recovery drive.
Yeah, he's got a 2-minute 14.140 second lap time this last time around. 2 laps to go. I'm not sure if, unless something happens to Fletcher, then Jerome Hag will be finishing in second place with Fletcher in first. But at this rate, Jerome has still put on an amazing performance.
Yeah, of course, you always want to carry on pushing at Spa because of incident limits. And, well, incident limits is always something that can blind a driver right at the very end. Glimlitz, by the way, on the rear right now of Harge. They'll come towards the Kum once again, but Glimlitz cannot find a way past in that number 3 machine, currently running in 3rd position. We've now got ourselves a lap and 2/3 to go in this one. It's been a great event here, Gary. I think a lot of people have just seen a fantastic recovery drive, but what a way to round out this season by all the drivers involved here. Yes, we've had ourselves 6 drivers out in this 18-car field, but for the most part, it's just been fantastic racing.
Yeah, especially with the pit strategy for Fletcher, that really put me off just a little bit. I thought it wasn't really such a good move, and then Jerome had gotten involved into some bad luck, and now these two are 1-2 right now, interestingly enough. So it'd be great for Fletcher to say that he beat the fastest guy in the race, who said 2:13, if he does manage to finish in first, and he's got 1 more lap in a few moments to say that.
Yeah, Matteo Vincenti, by the way, has fallen again behind Bob Bryan. So Bryan into 8th place, Vincente in 9th, and then 10th place is Hayden Gober. As these 3 drivers are still separated by 1 second, so there could still be some fireworks on our final lap. We want to keep an eye out on that one. Dendelot versus Glimlitz. These two are teammates that, of course, be trying to work for the greater good to put the pressure on Jerome Harge. But let's turn our attention then over to Daniel Fletcher, as he will see the white flag this time by 1 more lap to go here at Spa-Francorchamps. So, well, for Fletcher, you talked about it being a tactical drive. It has been a fantastic race by him. But we are on that white flag lap, and now you've just got to be careful not to put a foot wrong and go over that incident limit. Go back. Oh, you go.
All right, I was about to say, I'm watching the distance between these two, and It's still quite interesting, almost a near identical lap time. Fletcher set a 2:15.1, 2:14.6 from Jerome, and side by side for third place.
Yep, Dendelot then going to go down to the outside of his teammate Arlen Glimlet, and Dendelot will complete that pass, moving himself up into third place. Behind, we did say there's still the possibility for some fireworks. Vincente versus Bob Bryant. Nothing's going to happen though between those two drivers in towards Lecom, and Hayden Gober is even further back, not able to do anything right now. Glimlet's then down into fourth place. Daniel Fletcher, however, now just has himself basically, get this, a couple of braking zones, and that'll be it for him. He's through P1 number 1, now into P1 number 2, ready? Underneath the Alliance Bridge and into the Fongya chicane. The right flick followed by the left. Is what he does now under the Vodafone Bridge, and now he's got Stavolo. This is basically his second to last big braking zone, because Cobra Paul Frere, you're pretty much flat out through it. In most cars, you can see he's accelerating through the gears. 5th gear, 6th gear. Behind, we have got Vincente on the rear of Bob Bryant. They are closing up into the Flanders chicane. We'll turn our attention very quickly over to that one, as we'll just have a look, but nothing yet. That will come down to the Blanchimont and then bus stop chicane corners. We'll have a look at that one as after we've had Fletcher go past the start finish line. Here then comes Fletcher out the final corner for the final time, and it will be Daniel Fletcher winning week number 12 here in the iRacing Pro Mazda Championship. It is Daniel Fletcher who claims himself victory to go back to Vincente. He's on the rear but not able to do anything, and he cannot get himself past Bob Bryant. So a pretty lax final lap here, but Fletcher wins. Hard in second, and David Dendelot rounds out your top 3. Great event to round out this season.
That was absolutely exciting. Amazing strategy by Fletcher, and, well, like I said, it's just positions 1, 2. They have been swapped, and that was all just from a pit strategy, no less, and questionable it seemed at the time, but Fletcher definitely made that work out.
Let's have a look for your final race results. By 4.8 seconds, Daniel Fletcher takes victory over Jerome Haas, who we need to remember had a fantastic run at the end of this race to get himself back up into P number 2. But P number 2 is all he's going to get. David Dendelot in 3rd place, Aurelian Glimlet in 4th, and Rutger Hedman in P number 5. Jerome Raidmaker in 6th, Stephen Roskin in 7th, Bob Bryant in 8th. He gets himself ahead of Matteo Vincente with 3 to go and holds on. Vincente in 9th, and then Hayden Gover rounds out your top 10. Then Jerry McGavery in P number 11, and Marco Asidiacono, after an issue down at the bus stop chicane early on in the race, has to settle for the last driver classified and the last driver on the lead lap in P number 12. Then your retirees, Lyndon Swaby, Cedric Colsett, Eric Paddock, Martin Anulis. He's the other driver that lost it down at the bus stop chicane. He's the one that hit the curb and put Marco Asidiacono on towards pit road and into those issues. Then Thomas Zager in 17th, Craig Ridley then in P number 18. Just want to confirm, by the way, for Marco Asidiacono, he did have to pit twice, Gary.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that Asidiacono had unfortunately ran into those problems, but on the bright side though, he did manage to pull off a finish just barely in the lead lap, although it was a 1 minute 10 seconds off. But on the bright side though, at least he did manage to luck out at the end and just managed to pull off a 12th place finish.
I want to give a shout out to Esteban Balau TrackCam22.com for all the TV cameras you see. Overlay designed by Andreas Warner, the official graphics partner of RaceBot TV. Simon Grossman for development and appgeneering.com. Saw a couple of brand new features, literally brand new features for this event. Race.tv, live timing and scoring as ever. Thank you to Nick Thissom. Thank you also to Hugo Louise for doing the camera work for 11 of the 12 races this season, and also to Connery Maddock, who basically just finished his second year of university. So I think, Gary, he's on a 1-month summer holiday bender.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd also love to take that month off in the process, but it's congratulations to Connery, but also great performance by everybody this season in the Pro Mazda, I guess I would say, series, because it's definitely going to be an exciting season for next year, and I can't wait to see what tracks they have for next season's schedule.
Yep. Come on, Steve. Tell us now, if you can, please. Don't forget, tomorrow we have got ourselves Classic IndyCar Series. Yep, the month of May may be over, but now it's back down to normal business as the Classic IndyCar Series heads to the track that used to always host the race after Indianapolis, the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest operating racetrack in all of North America. In fact, the oldest operating racetrack in the world, Gary.
Actually, that's the way that track is actually still open. I did not know that. That is really amazing.
Well, it hosted a race every single year until I think it was 2011, 12, when they didn't. 2010 actually was the first time they didn't host any race. But then they still hosted IndyCar for a couple of years. The Andretti family did try and put a lot of money behind it, but the issue is you got so much happening within that Wisconsin area. And you have a look, for example, at the Jewel in Detroit, which has now taken over that traditional race after Indy. And it's really hard when you're in that kind of concentrated Midwest area to find fans to go not only to that, but to all the college football that goes on, Gary. And then, of course, to put on a cheese hat and then go and sit down and watch the Green Bay Packers.
It's always the cheese hat, apparently. So, wow, goodness. Yep, I'm saying, looks like it opened in, 1903, broke ground in 1899. So that's very, very heavily track of filled with history, no doubt, and most likely a lot of stories. And I'm pretty sure that they'd love to be, once again, hosting that track, or at least a race there after the Indianapolis race.
Yeah, and of course, part of the Wisconsin state area, and it was open 10 years before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and let's not forget, we classify that as one of the granddaddies of all racetracks in the world. Well, that is all we've got time for here tonight. That guy over there has been Gary Weather. I have been Will Vinson. Good night from Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and thank you to everyone who's watched the Pro Mazda Championship this season on iRacing Live. Thank you and goodbye.